Etefu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mami Grace and her counterpart Alice say is about to interpret Quran chapter number 9 verse number 29 and the reason behind the revelation of Quran chapter number 9 verse number 29 for us to listen. In the end, is the name. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook and also on TikTok. The name is UTI Dawa. Share this video, let it trend. We want Mami Grace and Ali Sisi to trend. That is what they want. There are two types of trending. We want them to trend. People will see who has learned and who is not.
Chapter 9 verse 29 and then verse 30 no ka say mfumso a jiwfo ene ayi kristofo ye no ntina ye ka say yenkuntie omo no Quran chapter 9 verse 30 no explain on say chapter 9 say yenkuntie omo na say unbelieving po omo ntua obi a on pese ye bekunu no ontia bibi we a slave so nia omuboni a omaye no chapter 9 verse 30 explaining this is what the verse says waqala til yahudu or say because yahudu fo no jew fo no omo no ne omo kan ne uzairun ibnullah omo si ezras ana ezra eye ibnullah eye nyameba omuboni omaye no omo si jews eye nyameba. I had a conversation with a one Jew and the Jew is saying that this point is not true. Say almost see Ezras. Ezras is a Persian priest who was sent by a Persian king in the time of destruction of Jerusalem. So ombe check it.
The omuka so ombe check it said die now ascension we na nipati train is because na ya nipati to say Persian so omu head. And king no suman say ombra na ombe check say as he saying so ono no osan wa another story e Quran chapter 2 mu. Because oba no oka bibi until something happened as nyame ma ne wuye and osanyane no eno a different story until or see Quran chapter 9 verse 30 no or see Jew for omo na omo ayenti a omo som no nyesum pane ne say omo see Ezras eye nyame ba.
So according to Professor Ali Sisi and his counterpart, the reason behind all the sababun nuzul, the syntax, the reason behind the revelation of Quran chapter number 9, verse number 29 and 30 is because the Jews have said Ezra is Ibnullah and the Christians have said Jesus alayhi salam is Ibnullah. And for that reason, the Quran commands them to be killed and to be slaughtered. What kind of lies is this? Why do you lie without fearing God? Doesn't your dwarfs tell you the truth? Doesn't those dwarfs you've been calling tell you the truth? Why must you be lying that much? Now, let's look at the reason why Quran chapter number 9 was even revealed. The whole chapter. It has a reason. Let's look at it. First of all, what I want everyone to understand is that the verse or the chapter, Quran chapter number 9, verse number 1 till 30, wasn't even talking about Christians and Jews till 29 instead. In fact, it is talking about the Muslims and the idolaters. So why will Ali Sisi lie to Mami Grace that the chapter is talking, or that particular verse is talking about Muslims killing Christians and Jews, when it is even talking about, it's a battle between idolaters and Muslims. Are the Christians now the idolaters? Are they the mushriks today? And when we tell her that they've been lying to her, she won't believe us. Probably we vary in ideas and we vary in knowledge. And we are not arguing based on emotions, but we are arguing based on facts and evidences. Now let's look at Quran chapter number 9, start from verse number 1. Today we finish this topic once and for all. And you and I will also understand who and who is the verse talking about. What happened? It says, Bara'atun minallahi wa rasuli ila allazina ahadtum min al-mushrikeen. A declaration of immunity from Allah and His messenger to the polytheists with whom you made a treaty. Why was this declaration declared? The Muslims have made a treaty with the polytheists that we will not fight against each other. We will not touch you. We will not kill you. You will not kill us. We will live peacefully. Then the disbelievers or the idolaters went to break that treaty by killing the Muslims and ambushing the Muslims anywhere they go. That is why after they broke this treaty, God revealed this for the Muslims to defend themselves. It has nothing to do with Christians and Jews. This is a haba. This is a haba. Let's look at, maybe you might think the UT is trying to cover something. Let's look at this tafsir from Ibn Kathir, where it says, this honorable chapter was one of the last surahs to be revealed to the Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Buhari recorded that Al-Bara'a said the last ayah to be revealed was يَسْتَفْتُونَكَ قُلِ اللَّهُ يُفْتِيكُمْ فِي الْكَلَالَةِ. They asked for a legal verdict. Say Allah direct. That's about Kalala. That's in Quran chapter number 4 verse 176. While the last surah to be revealed was Bara'a, which is Tawbah chapter 9. Now it says Basmala was not mentioned in the beginning of this because the companions did not write it in the complete copy of the Mus'haf they collected. Following the command of the faithful Osman bin Affan, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the first part of this honorable surah was revealed to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he returned from the battle of Tabuk during the Hajj season, which the Prophet taught about attending, but remembered that idolaters will still attend that Hajj, as was usual in the past years, and that they perform tawaf around the house while naked. He disliked to associate with them, and sent Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu to lead Hajj that year and show the people their rituals, commanding him to inform the idolaters that they will not be allowed to participate in Hajj after that season. He commanded him to proclaim Bara'atu minallahi wa rasuli. First of all, this is the reason. It is between idolaters and then the Muslims. Now, when we come down, it says, إِلَى الَّذِينَ آهَدْتُمْ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ فَسِيهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَرْبَعَةُ أَشْهُرٍ. To those of the mushrikeen, the idolaters. When Quran wants to mention Christians, it says Nasara. When it wants to mention Jews, it says Yahudu. When it wants to mention Serbians, it says Sabi'in. Over here, it is referring to mushrik. If when it is referring to pure idolaters, it calls them mushriks. Now, this ayah refers to idolaters who had indefinite treaties and those whose treaties with Muslims ended in less than 4 months. The terms of these treaties were restricted to 4 months only. As for those whose term of peace ended at a specific date later than 4 months, and their treaties will end when their terms ended, no matter how long afterwards. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَتِمُّوا إِلَيْهِمْ أَهْدَهُمْ إِلَى مُدَّتِهِمْ. So fulfill their treaty for them until the end of their term. 9 verse 4. So whoever have a covenant with Allah's messenger, then it will last until its period. This was reported from Muhammad ibn Ka'b al-Qurayzi and others. You will also we also mention several hadiths which is talking about this. So it was a treaty between the Muslims and them, whereby they broke that treaty. You understand? There was a term given to not all the disbelievers, but some who broke that treaty. How did they break the treaty? In Quran 22, verse number 39 to 40, it says, Uzina lillazina yuqataluna bi annahum zulimu. Permission is given to those who are fought against. Wa inna Allaha ala nasrihim laqadir. And Allah is able to give them victory because they have broke the treaty and they were killing people. And this had to do with some Christians were also facing this injustice. In Quran chapter number 22 verse 40, الَّذِينَ أُخْرِجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ بِغَيْرِ حَقٍّ. Those who were unjustly evicted from their homes. These are the Muslims. إِلَّا أَنْ يَقُولُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهِ. Their crime was because they said they will worship Allah alone. وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ الناس بعضهم ببعض لهدمت صوامع وبيع وصلوات ومساجد. What does it say? It says يذكر فيها اسم الله كثيرا. Were it not that Allah repels people by means of others, monasteries and churches, synagogues and mosques, use kerufiya ismullahi, where the name of Allah is mentioned. Kathira, plenty, where the name of Allah is mentioned much. Wala yansuranna Allah man yansuruhu, would have been demolished. Allah support whoever supports him. So the Christians were also under this attack by the pagans, the idolaters. This guy does not know the Quran. He does not even understand what is called Quran. The Christians were also under attack. The Jews were also under attack. And the Muslims were under attack. Their synagogues were being demolished all the time by these disbelievers. Because they are those disbelievers after the Muslims have made treaty with them. So when they broke the treaty, that is when Bara'atun was revealed. Now let's continue. Inna Allah laqawiyyun aziz. Allah is strong and mighty. So this is why the permission to fight them was revealed. Uzina lillazina yuqataluna bi annahum zulimu. Permission is given to those who are fought against. If you are being fought against, permission is given to you to defend yourself. Wa inna Allah ala nasrihim laqadir. So Allah is able to give them victory. Now, so let's look at another reason why why the Muslims were commanded to fight to defend themselves. In Quran chapter number 16 verse number 58 to 59, it says, "What is a bushra ahaduhum bil untha?" And when one of them is given news of a female infant, zalla wajhuhu muswada. Zalla wajhuhu muswada. It says his face darkens. In other words, he becomes very sad. Wa huwa kadhim, and he chokes with grief. He chokes with grief. La ilaha illallah. Yatawara min al-qawmi min su'i ma bushira bihi. He hides from people because of the bad news given to him. Ayumsikuhu ala hunin am yadussuhu fit turabi. Shall he keep it in humiliation or bury it in the dust? So they used to be killing and burying children, female infant. Ala sa'a ma yahkumun. Evil is the decision they make. So these are the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was commanding the Muslims to go against them. In Quran 2 verse 190, it says, وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. And fight in the cause of Allah those who fight you. Fight in the cause of Allah those who fight you. It is because these people are fighting the Muslims. And it is not even Christians. It is not even Jews. This guy is a liar and a pathetic liar who has gotten a platform where let me just hold my peace over there. Let me just hold my peace over there. So that is this. That is the verse. They were killing the Muslims. And they broke their treaty before Bara'atun was even revealed. Now, with regards to the verse, we've also clarified that it wasn't even talking about Christians, but on the contrary, it is talking about idolaters. Now, in a state, unless you will tell me that idolaters were also burying their children, their female infant, and others like that. And the Quran says, verse 151, who says, Kul ta'alaw atlu ma harrama rabbukum alaykum ala tushriku bi shay'a. Say, come, let me tell you what your Lord has forbidden you, that you associate nothing with him, that you honor your and you honor your parents. Wala taqtulu awladakum min imlak, and that you do not kill your children because of poverty. They were killing children. And then narzukukum wa iyahum. We provide for you and for them. Wala takrabul fawahisha ma zahara minha wa ma batana. And do not come closer or come near to indecencies, whether outward or inward. You understand? And it says, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا النَّفْسَ الَّتِي هَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. And do not kill the soul which Allah has sanctified except in the cause of justice. ذَلِكُمْ وَصَاكُمْ بِي لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. All this He has enjoined upon you so that you may understand. So nowhere does the Quran say go and kill Christians because they are go and kill Christians, go and kill Jews because of that. And to even prove to you how the idolaters used to kill their children, female infant and stuff like that. It says in Sahih Muslim, Hadith number 1744b and book 32, Hadith number 29, where it says, it is narrated by Ibn Umar that a woman was found killed in one of these battles. So the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbid the killing of women and children at once. So this was the reason why the battle was even blown, inshallah.
Like something like biological son. We call it in Nasara. And a Christopher so muboni anti say Cramophone kunti or mun say or say Al-Masihu, the Messiah, Ibnullah, or Yanyamiba.
So musu say or your prophet or Yanyamiba.
Untino, when Croform, I say young kunti or muboni or my any.
Omuboni or my any, yebebaho.
Okay.
But in America, and then you do my public into me, Pesa mefa or more time be brave.
Okay.
Omo the question be abane is a yes, our conversation, yeah. Yebeka.
Now, so we've seen that Quran 9 verse 30 is different content at all. It is different concept at all. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not commanding Muslims to fight Christians because of this. Nay. This is very falsehood. The chapter wasn't even commanding Muslims to fight Christians. Not at all. Now, verse number 30. Let's look at Quran chapter number 9. Verse number 30 and then come. Verse 30 says, وَقَالَتِ الْيَهُودُ أُذَيْرٌ إِبْنُ اللَّهِ وَقَالَتِ النَّصَارَى الْمَسِيحُ إِبْنُ اللَّهِ. The Jews said Ezra is the son of God. وَقَالَتِ النَّصَارَى, the Christians says the Messiah is the son of God. ذَلِكَ قَوْلُهُمْ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. These are their statement out of their mouth. يُدَاهِئُونَ قَوْلَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ. They emulate the statement of those who blasphemed before. قَاتَلَهُمُ اللَّهُ أَنَّا يُؤْفَكُونَ. May Allah assail them how deceived they are. You see this verse, it doesn't say kill them. Over here it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is cursing them. Allah himself is cursing them. But in 30, it is 29 is commanding the Muslims to go out there to combat them. But in 30, Allah himself will fight his own battle with the Christians. That's the different thing. But he then said that he made investigation with the Jews, and the Jews told him that thing was a lie. They never said so. The question is, what kind of Jews did you make a research from? According to Encyclopedia Judaica, volume 6, and Encyclopedia Judaica Jerusalem, page number 1108, it says Uzairu was called the father of Judaism by the Jews. That's one. And then when you go to point number one, according to the same source in point 1, it says the Arab Jews in Yemen indeed considered Uzair as the son of God. The Arab Jews in Yemen. There you go again with your lies. You don't make a research and then you come out there to lie and to tell people, trying to tell that you've seen a lie in the Quran, you've seen falsehood in the Quran because a lying tongue of a Jew has told you so. Didn't their books call them liars in Jeremiah 8 verse 8? Since when did the Muslim begin to find his sources from Jews? Like I said, according to Encyclopedia Judaica volume 6, Encyclopedia Judaica Jerusalem, page number 1108, Uzairu was called the father of Jews by the Jews in Jerusalem. And then in point 1, under the same source, the Yemen Jews were calling Uzair as son of God. So Quran 9 verse 30 isn't referring to Jews as in Amma, but it's referring to Jews as in Khasa. There are some verses that are Amma, and there are some verses that are Khasa. Oh, you haven't learned or studied Islam. Stop bragging and learn. The name is Dawa. You rush. You rush too much. You rush. You rush too much. You have not studied Islam, but with your sweet tongue. Conforba and then neboneba.
Maybe so way.
Okay.
Obi ba this platform yiswa, I think Andrew and any 3 days.
Okay.
Na or say no ye Muslim, not to say wabe Christian.
Okay.
Because according to Nilene no who say Muslims ne baba be ruli. No ma be kuku Christopher mo de atete be ba mo so antichrist what omo no be ruli the 8th way. Mema wa hate ho. But me, you are for the public today, so okay. When we have free time, then we jump into what we want to add. I cool. Want to know what true to be a woman. Where say wa menu or say Mami Grace, please can you ask him about zakat?
So that's how they acquire their knowledge. It is based on or say, yes say, or say, yes say, no any authentic sources. And let's look at the sources of how Muslims will dominate the world. How is it going to be? The whole show, it's going to be when Nabi Isa alayhi salam has returned. When Jesus Christ alayhi salam has returned. Now, note that before the coming of Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, which is Jesus Christ alayhi salatu wasalam, Dajjal will come. The Dajjal is the Antichrist. Now, when the Antichrist or the Antichrist had come, a day, 40 days will be like a year, and a day will be like a month. 40 days will be like a year, and a day will be like a month, and a day like a week, and the remaining days will be like the normal days. So the companions asked the Prophet ﷺ that if a day a day of 40 days becomes like a year, will the prayer of one day be sufficient for us? And he answered, no, rather at that time, make calculations for the timings of prayer. The companions then asked, how quick will be his Dajjal, Antichrist, pace on the earth? And the Prophet ﷺ replied, like rain that is driven by wind, and he will approach a community and invite them to accept his divinity, and they will believe in him and respond to his call, and he will then order the sky to rain, and consequently it will rain. He will give an order to the earth, and subsequently it will bring forth produce. Their heads will return to them, and in the evening with their arms as high as ever, their orders full, and their flanks stretched. He will then go to another community and invite them. However, they will reject his claim to divinity. He will then leave them, and they will end up being afflicted with drought. All of their wealth will be gone from their hands. He, Dajjal, will pass by a land in ruins and say to it, bring forth your treasures. As a result, its treasures will come out and follow him like a swarm of bees. Then he will call a man brimming with youth and strike him with a sword. He will cut him into pieces and place each as far as from each other, as target from an archer. He will then summon him, and he will come forth with his face gleaming and laughing. Now, this is what will happen. And this is even recorded in Sahih Muslim. When another hadith from Sahih Muslim says, when the Dajjal, the Antichrist, will be engaged in all of this, Allah will send it, the Messiah. So this time, the disbelievers, according to this, so the disbelievers are now will be dominating the Muslims then. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send Masih Isa alayhi salam, the Messiah Jesus Christ alayhi salatu salam, Allah will send the Messiah, the son of Mary. He will descend by the white minaret in the east side of Damascus. That is where Isa alayhi salam will descend. Wearing 2 garments, dyed in saffron, placing his hands on the wings of 2 angels. When he will lower his head, water will drip from it, and when he will raise it, drops like pearls will scatter from it. Every disbeliever will come in contact with his breath, will die, and his breath will reach as far as he can see. So this is it. It is not like Muslims are going to do what they are saying. Mami Grace, stop listening to yesay. That's what I said. Read on your own.
Okay. About zakat for me, is there any punishment if you don't pay zakat?
Yes. Actually, punishment in say zakat in Islam supposed to be taken by force, and this zakat has brought a serious conflict after Muhammad demise. Ampa zakat supposed to be taken by force, and our Quran imunu ya confirm say obi a on mazaka no owu obekọ hell. Quran stated it completely, say nipa no wu a obekọ hell. Now the word zakat in Arabic has two major meanings.
Okay.
One, echere say mpumtuo, says skabe tumpon, and we are one zakat. And the second meaning purification. Ante almost say uyi zakat in if you seek mu skano be tumpon and an oyi so be purified.
I just said tight.
The same thing.
This guy makes me remember the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ had said that when the hour is near, the ignorance will be seen as scholars, and when the true scholars talk, nobody will listen to them. And I think this is the time. Now, indeed, there were battles after the Prophet ﷺ, and zakat is not supposed to be taken by force in any way. Zakat itself is designed in such a way to help the poor and the needy. Zakat is designed in such a way to help the poor and the needy. So the Muslims have designed what we call Baytul Mal, a house of wealth, a house where they keep all the zakat, and it is used to support the poor and the needy. Now, who and who are supposed to enjoy this zakat? In Quran 9 verse 60, it says, "Innama sadaqatu," charities are for the poor. "Innama sadaqatu lil fuqara'i," charities are for the poor. In Quran 9 verse number 60, it says, "Innama sadaqatu lil fuqara'i," charity are for the poor. "Wal masakini," and the destitute. "Wal amilina," and those who administer them. "Alayha." وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةِ لِقُلُوبُهُمْ, and for reconciling hearts. وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, and for freeing of slaves. The zakat money, if someone is owing or someone is a slave, we use the money to free him, to give him his freedom. وَالْغَارِمِينَ, and for those in debt. So if someone is owing a huge money that they cannot afford to pay, they use that money to pay for that person. وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, and in the path of Allah. وَبِنِ السَّبِيلِ, and also the traveler who is in need. فَرِيدَةٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ, and an obligation from Allah. وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ حَكِيمٌ, Allah is all-knowing, most wise. We don't have a single place in the Quran where it is saying that zakat are supposed to be collected by force, but it is part of the 5 pillars of Islam, and it is supposed to be given to these poor people. It is supposed to be given to these poor people. They don't collect it by force. Now, what triggered the combat between the Muslims and those who refused the apostate? Now, it is indeed true that wars are fought and armies were mobilized for the sake of realizing the regional ambitions and gaining of worldly benefit. And they are also fought for fulfilling imperial motives and settling of political scores. Now, but the war against apostasy were fought for the cause of the poor and to restore their right to benefit from the zakat. And that was made compulsory by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on someone who is rich. If you're not rich, it is not compulsory for you to pay. In fact, you are supposed to be of those who will benefit. And this wars took place when some people tried to rob the people of their right. Any battle you hear the Muslims fighting, it is because they fought for their own right. And this report was written by Dr. Ali Al-Ghamdi. Dr. Ali Al-Ghamdi. And he says, after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, some Arab tribes declined to pay zakat by saying, we used to give zakat to Muhammad, but now Muhammad is no more, hence we are not obliged to give zakat. Some of them renounced Islam while others did not, but refused to pay zakat. Some senior companions of the Prophet ﷺ, including Umar ibn Khattab, were against being tough on this matter so as not to cause Islamic society to disintegrate and lose its strength. But the Caliph Abu Bakr was firm and tough on this issue. He considered those who refused to pay zakat as apostates. And in this respect, there was famous saying of Abu Bakr by Allah, if they withhold the rope of a camel they used to give in zakat to Allah, I will fight for them. So the whole show was because they wanted to fight the right of the poor. For the right of the poor. Now, Abu Bakr then mobilized armies to fight apostates and those who refused to pay zakat, in addition to those who made undue claims to prophethood like Musaylama, the liar of Yamama. This man arrived in Medina and embraced Islam during the period of the Prophet, and after returning to his people of Bani Hanifa, he told them, I had reached agreement with Muhammad to divide the prophethood between me and him. Musaylama informed his people, in other words, that was the reason why the battle of the zakat came. It was to defend the poor, so that the poor will have their right. You understand? Just as in Ghana here, the rich are always enjoying while the poor are suffering. If the proper initiation of zakat is placed, the government will have to take care of the poor, the rich will have to take care of the poor, and the economy will be very good. That is why the Arabs are enjoying, they are living in a wealthy life. It is very difficult to differentiate between the poor and the needy. You withheld your properties and you stop helping poor people, and look at how we are today. Look at the way people are hungry today because of this. So we are not saying things out of emotions. We are always arguing with facts and then evidences. You wish you can bring down Islam. When truth comes, falsehood perishes. For falsehood by its nature is bound to perish. Now, when we look at the benefit of giving zakat, we shall know things like it's a pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be pleased with you, and it also increase you in wealth, and it also protects you from your property losses, and forgiveness and blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also be on your way, and it's also a safety from your calamities, and it's also a protection from the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from bad death. It's also shelter you on the day of judgment, and it's also a security from 70 misfortunes, and it's also a safety from the fire of Jahannam, and it's also a safety from grief, inshallah. So that is zakat. And when you read Quran 2 verse 43, it says, and establish regular salah and pay zakah and bow down with those who bow down. In Quran 9 verse 18, in fact, the mosques of Allah are built by those who believe in Allah and the last day, and those who establish and pay zakah and who fear none but Allah. So it is hope that are among those on the right path. So that's the benefit of zakat. We all, as Muslims, we know this. And if you don't pay zakat, there is nowhere you will be forced with to pay zakat. No, it's part of the 5 pillars. If you don't pay, you face judgment before God. But they don't come on you and then force you. No. But the reason for that combat was because now the poor are suffering. So they have to collect it and then give to the poor. To support the poor. So it is called revolution. When revolution is done, it is done to help people. But in that revolution, there might be some violence and there might be some chaoses. But after that, you see benefit in it, inshallah. So non-payment of zakat, it may cause a famine. The nation that withholds zakat and does not pay it, Allah affirms famines on them. According to Tabarani, Ibn Umar anhu relates that Rasulullah once said, "O Muhajirun, there are 5 dreadful sins. If you fall into this, and I take refuge in Allah from the evil of these sins, lest you fall into them." You understand? These are the. So another hadith is also saying, if people stop paying zakat, rain will be withheld from them, and were it not for the animals, no rain will fall on them. Ibn Majah and Al-Bazar and Al-Bayhaqi narrated this also.
It's the same thing. That's where I'm coming from.
Nipana read the actual message ni yedi aba, so I want us to answer.
Okay.
Or say, as you were a Muslim, I would like to know for you in the Muslim values. Hey, Asemo, what's the biggest mistake that the imam or the teachers have trained that is contrary to the reality. I hope it's okay now.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
And I'm saying kind of.
Yeah. Since I am Matthias here. Adia, yeah, the actual leaders, any imams or woman, contrary to the reality. Oh, one of the biggest and the only actual amount for contrary to the reality in it say ya kachire yen say obi biara enko heaven eji wa ye kremoni. And we are the biggest the biggest one. Nti to kremoni obi biara onye kremoni no waira. You see, and this my cut across two no. It might cut across it. This is the problem. This is why people like me, it shouldn't be like that.
You see, when you haven't studied Islam and you begin attacking Islam, there will always be loopholes in your messages. He said it is the imams that taught that it is only Muslims that are going to heaven. On the contrary, it is not the imams, bro. It is not the imams. You just have to be careful, reader. When you read Quran chapter number 98, Surah Al-Bayyinah, ayah number 6, it is not the Muslims who said this. I will give you sources and ahadith to prove my point. Now it says, "Inna alladhina kafaru min ahli al-kitabi." Those who disbelieve, min ahli al-kitab, among them are the people of the scripture, wal mushrikina, and the pagans or the polytheists. Fi nari jahannam khalidina fiha, they will go to hellfire, khalidina fiha, where they will abide forever. Ulaika hum sharrul bariyah. These are the worst of the creatures. We are not the ones saying this. This is a fact. Now let's look at a hadith. A hadith which is talking about this also. Narrated by Sahih Muslim, Imam Muslim, by hadith number 153. It said the Prophet ﷺ said, "By the one in whose hand is my soul, no one of this nation, Jew or Christians, hear of me, then dies without having believed in me, that which I was sent, but he will be one of the people of fire." One of the people of hell fire. We didn't say this. Now let's look at another hadith from Imam Bukhari, hadith number 4974, where it says, before I even stress on the hadith, in fact, whether a person is a non-Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, or Buddhist, or Zoroastrian, or whoever the person is, whether the person is so much of a righteous person that performs good deeds and have been helping people. Now, what I want you to know is that the point is not whether their morals are good. Rather, the point is whether they submit to Allah and obey His commands. There are Jews, there are Zoroastrians, there are Buddhists, there are Christians who do good, who support the poor and the needy. There is a hadith saying that they shall receive their reward on this world. But they are being ill-mannered or ill-mannered towards Allah. They are being ill-mannered towards Allah. That is why Allah Azza wa Jalla will punish them. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah says, the son of Adam denied me, and he had no right to do so, and he reviled me, and he had no right to do so. As for his denying me, it is saying he will not remark or remake me as he made me at first. And initial creation of him is no easier for me than remaking him. As for his reviling me, it is his saying, Allah has taken to himself a son, while I am the one, the everlasting, the refuge. I begot not, nor was I begotten, and there is none comparable to me. Sahih Bukhari, hadith number 4974. So we are not the ones saying this. It is the Quran that is saying this. You can be morally good. You can be very good. But once you don't go according to what Allah has commanded you, when you die, go and collect your reward to those you did your charities to. It is not the Malams who are saying this. On the contrary, it is in the Sunnah. You haven't studied. You are blaming the Malams. Zuku dan kashi. Annabi Muhammad Sayyidun Annabi Muhammad Adin Annabi Muhammad Buhudin Annabi Muhammad Muqaddamu Annabi Muhammad Azizun Annabi Muhammad Fadilun Annabi Muhammad Mufaddilun Annabi Muhammad Muhammad Annabi Muhammad Muhammad Annabi Rasulallah Annabi